Hello, artists. Today I'm going to show you how to make some simple buildings in two-point perspective. For today's project, you will need plain white paper or your sketchbook, a ruler, super important, a pencil, a black marker, and your eraser. So to start, you're going to need your ruler and your pencil, and you're going to make a horizon line. A horizon line is where the sky and the land meet. So we're going to take our ruler and we're going to put it about a third up the page. So you can use your fingers to kind of measure and then put your ruler there. So this will be the horizon line or the ground. So you want to make that lightly with your pencil. Now, pencil doesn't show up really well on my video, so I'm going to make it a little darker, but you want to make your line lighter. Now, in one point perspective, if you remember, we have a vanishing point right in the middle of our paper, and the lines go from that vanishing point down to the bottom of the paper. Today, you're going to have two vanishing points, so we're going to put two dots at the edges of our horizon line to remind us that that's what we're working from, these 2 points in the perspective to work from. Now, the first line I'm going to make is going to be the side of my biggest building. And I don't want to put it straight in the middle because then I won't have any room for other buildings. So I'm going to come over to the side, again, about a third of the way or 3 or 4 fingers from the edge of your paper. And I'm going to draw a line. I'm putting my ruler at the very top of the paper and making it straight. So my line will be straight. And I'm starting not all the way at the top of my paper, but a little way down. And I'm going to draw a line. And it's going to go a little bit down past my horizon line. The next thing I'm going to do as guides for the walls of my building is to touch the top of the line I just made and touch one of the dots over here on the horizon line and draw a line. And you want to draw these lines lightly because you're going to be erasing some of them. I'm also going to do the same thing on this side. Touch the dot and touch the top of this line and draw a line. Now you're noticing that I'm using my ruler each time. It's very, very important that you use your ruler when you're doing perspective drawings. Drawing it freehand is very difficult to get the lines straight, and you want straight lines. For the bottom of my building, I'm touching the dot again and the bottom of my line, drawing a light line, and then doing the same thing here, touching the bottom of my line, touching the dot, and drawing a line. So right now I have the guidelines for making the sides of my building. To make the short side, all I'm going to do is put my ruler on the paper where I want that side to be. And I like to line my ruler up at the top of the paper because that helps me make a straighter line. And I'm going to draw from this line all the way down to this line and stop. So I'm drawing within these two lines. So this is going to be the short side of my building. To make the long side of my building, I'm going to come down a little ways. And once again, I'm putting my ruler at the top of my paper here to try to make my ruler straight. And I'm going to draw a line from here to here. So I'm not going past my guidelines. So now I have a short side of my building and a long side of my building. I'm going to take my eraser now and I'm going to erase the horizon line because you would not see the horizon line through my building. And I'm also going to erase on this side as well. Okay. So I've erased, and I'm going to put a smaller building over here. And so I am once again putting my ruler to touch. I'm using my finger to feel it, touch the top of my paper, and I am going to draw a smaller straight line right here. So that's going to be one side of my building, and then I'm going to do it again here. This is going to be a much smaller building. And then this line is going to be the top of my building and it's going to go off. So I'm not going to worry about that. And now I'm going to erase all of these lines. I don't need that line. Oops, I erased my horizon line here though. I do need that line, so I'm bringing that back. And I'm erasing this line and I'm erasing this line and this line. So now I have this building and this building. So it doesn't look like much yet because I need to add windows and doors. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my marker and I'm going to go over the lines I just made just so that they're dark enough to see. And once again, I want to use my ruler because I really want my lines to be nice and straight. And I'm going to do this line now. This line. Now you're going to see that you can see a little bit of my pencil line here, uh, even though I erased it. And that's because I drew my line really dark so that you could see it on the video. However, if you draw your lines lightly, it will be much easier to erase those lines and make them disappear. So whenever we're doing something for the first time like that, you want to really try to make your lines as light as possible. Here's this building. It's going to go off this way. Maybe I'll put a line here for the side of this building. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to ignore that line right there. All righty, so here I have my two buildings. I need to erase this line as well. This is a guideline, so it can go, and then this line. Now I need to make doors and windows in my building. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my pencil again, and I am going to use my perspective point here in order to make the windows and the doors. So the windows and the doors, if you look at this line, the top of the windows and the doors have to match the angle of that line. So I'm going to take my ruler again and put it on the dot, and I'm going to try to match the angle of that line. Doesn't have to be perfect for this drawing. And I'm going to draw that angle. You can see it in pencil there. And then I'm also going to draw it just a little farther down, try to match the angle. And there I have the angle for my windows. And then for my door, I'm going to also put it on the horizon line, try to match the angle of the roof as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect for this. All right, so now I'm going to draw my windows and my doors. Here's the side of my door. And here's the side of my windows. I'll put one right here, one right here, one right here, and one right here. So you can see the two windows and the door. I'll erase the guidelines. And then I'll take my ruler again and I will draw my lines in marker so that they're stronger. You can see them. Now, I know sometimes people are like, oh, I hate to use the ruler, the straight edge, but it's really good to get used to using a ruler because they really do come in handy when you want to make, especially buildings and things that tend to have really straight lines. Uh, Rulers are great for that because it makes everything nice and neat. So here we go. Here are my two windows and the door. Now, I am going to leave this wall blank. And the reason why I'm doing that is today you're going to do a project where you're going to create a mural on this wall. And this is the wall where the mural is going to go. So we're going to leave that blank for now. On this smaller building, I'm going to make windows and doors the same way with my pencil. I'm going to try to match the angle and touch the dot at the horizon line. And that's the top of windows. And this will be the bottom of the windows. And this is where the top of the door is going to go. And then I'm going to draw my straight lines up and down. Two, I'm going to draw two for the windows again. Up and down. And then one for the door. This is a smaller building here. But we can still put a smaller mural on this wall. That'll be fine. And then we're going to draw with our ruler the windows and doors. And then the houses will be done in marker. Now, once you finish your houses, it's time to put more interesting things in your picture. Trees, sky, sidewalks. You can add people if you want to. That's fine with me. So we have our two buildings with two walls that we can use for graffiti. Since I made a mistake here with my marker, I didn't intend to do that. I'm going to correct that by adding a tree to the side of my building. So I'll just put that right there. You can always change your mistakes. And I want to put some trees over here on this side of this building too. Now, as your trees get closer to the horizon line, the trees need to get smaller because they're farther away. So here's trees. Here's a tree over here. I might want to put some trees over here, but also they get smaller as they get closer to this horizon line. And I'm going to draw the rest of that horizon line here and behind these trees. Now, if I want to make a sidewalk, I can do that. The sidewalk is going to go in front of these trees, so I'm going to make a line, and then I'm going to touch that little point right there, our dot, our friend, and I'm going to draw a line to the corner of my building and stop. Then I'm going to take my ruler and once again touch that line and this other point over here, the vanishing point, and draw a sidewalk. So now I have a sidewalk in front of my buildings. I can also draw clouds in the sky. And remember that clouds, when they are back here farther away, are going to be smaller than the clouds that are going to be close. So I'm going to start with the clouds that are going to be big, and I'm going to put them close to the front of my building. But as the clouds get farther away, they're going to be smaller. So I want to make sure that the clouds are shorter, smaller in the distance. Right, it's kind of a cloudy sky today, a little bit of sun. And small cloud way back there. Okay, so now I have two buildings that I can put my graffiti murals on. You only have to put a graffiti mural on, or your mural doesn't have to be graffiti, on the side of the big building. You can add one to the small building if you want to add more trees next to the small building. Maybe you want to draw a person who's walking to the building. You can draw the person. Here's a shopping bag. Maybe this is a grocery store. So you can add people, you can add trees, you can add cars here on the street if you'd like. But the main thing I want to see in your project today is your mural, the one that you're going to create on this side of the building. This mural can be about something that relates to your feelings. It can be political, it can be cultural, it could be inspirational. So, any of those themes would be great for you to use for your mural today. I look forward to seeing your creations. That's all for today, artists.